just want you to know that you're not alone. I had debated whether or not I wanted to do the lives this week because of that, but I feel like it might give me more normalcy to do them. And of course, because they're general readings, I should be able to just read the cards as they are and not project too much on them, so we'll see how it goes. I will be once again this week using the combined decks of Oliver Hibbert's Tarot with the Secret Arcana. I've really been enjoying using this deck, so I'm going to continue with that into this week. Hi, Kayla's lovely. Thank you for coming. It's really good to see you. Oh, my computer decided to get all loud. How awkward. Hold on. Just spritz a little bit of this Florida water. It smells so lovely to clear the space. So now I'm going to shuffle the cards. We're going to start with the water sign of Cancer. Cancer, if you would like to go ahead and set your intention for the reading, just kind of relax and allow any associated thoughts and feelings to float up to the forefront of your mind and wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And of course, if any of these things are causing you stress or anxiety, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. So as you inhale, draw in source energy and allow it to infiltrate each and every one of your cells and molecules. And then as you exhale, just allow to be carried out on your breath any stress, tension, discomfort, any of those associated things you are feeling, and they will be returned to source, and they will be transmuted. So let me write down your timestamp, Cancer. I can't believe it's already July. June felt like it was a million years long and simultaneously felt like a drop of water in a gigantic bucket. So let's see, write down that timestamp. Cancer, here in the past for you, we have the Temperance card in the reverse. There would have been a time in the past where you were practicing, you were training, you were being very patient and disciplined regarding some practice. And it looks like you have kind of left that to the wayside, either because it's no longer required or because you've moved on to other things. But that is something that is showing up in the past and may be a contributing factor in the current situation, although not in an immediate sense. It could just be that, perhaps you memorized something to the point that it became part of your muscle memory. You know what they say, you never forget how to ride a bike. Be something like that. So here in the current situation for you, Cancer, we have one of the secret arcana cards coming out in your reading. It is the Serpent, and it's crossed by the Emperor card. So let's see what we will find out about the Serpent card. The upright meaning of that card is the beginning of an end. So something has been ending. And it could have to do even with this particular situation. Maybe you were playing a musical instrument and you've given it up. Maybe there was something else that you were very disciplined in doing and you're kind of slowly shedding that practice for whatever reason. And the reason for that might be that new structure is coming into your life with the Emperor card here. So that whatever this discipline was, it's no longer required. There are new things providing that discipline in your life, that control. Also, that the Emperor can represent elements of control in one's life. And it is, as the crossing card, it's going to be showing up upright rather than inverted. And you guys know that I do read reversals in my readings. And I really delve into any kind of symbolism that I can. Down here in the Imam Silai, so this is any of the situations that will be leading to the eventual goal or destiny. This is going to be the foundations of that. And we have the Six of Wands here, which is a card about victory and mobility. Now, I often read the Six of Wands also as an analog in the minor arcana for your card of the Chariot. So there might be some things that are showing up here in the current situation that are very similar, or that you recognize little glimpses of yourself in certain elements of victory and mobility around you. But that it's not quite your energetic signature, but it's very similar. So you might be reading things around you at this time, Cancer, that are very similar to your energetic signature. Here in the card talking about your perceptions of the current situation, we have the Six of Cups and it's showing up reversed. So you're having to give up the past. You're having to leave the past behind for good, for better or for worse, and move on, move through things, move past things. That's what the Six of Cups is about, like shedding any kind of emotional drains on your system. From an outside person's perspective looking in, we have the Knight of Wands, and this card is showing up reversed. So this could be people around you perceiving you as being drained of energy, of inaction. This would be fire elemental energy. And because it's showing up reversed, there could be a tendency to expend one's energy in inefficient ways, as perceived by people on the outside. They could perceive you as not having very much energy at this time, as I said. And it's very counter. Now, the Six of Wands, remember I said, I consider this an analog for your major arcana card, but it is wand energy and therefore active energy, counter to the passive energy of Cancer, right? Cancer being a water sign. It's kind of like an opposite to that energy. So where we have this Knight of Wands coming out in the reverse, there might be things about the current situation that are counter to your nature. And therefore, people around you could perceive that you are fighting certain things, even if that's not really the case. Here in the future, we have another one of these glorious secret arcana cards, and it is the Shadow. So the Shadow is number 15. Upright, lies being revealed. Now, this doesn't just have to be about people creating falsehoods and then those things being revealed. It can be about like misinformation being exposed. It can be about things that are unclear becoming clarified. Information coming into light. So in the future, and you might already perceive that this is shifting and that this is happening. We do have this card showing up in the upright that you might already perceive that. Here in your hopes and fears, we have the Three of Wands. This card is showing up in the upright. It's all about things returning to you from the past. So, and this is in opposition to this Six of Cups in reverse. So the energies that you've put out into the world, those are being returned to you. Or you hope that those will be returned to you at this time. But that's kind of part of this process of letting this go. You have to realize that even if those energies don't return to you, that you still have to move on from this situation. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. So up here in the midheaven, this is going to be the goal or destiny of the situation. And we have the Knight of Cups showing up in the upright. Trusting your intuition. Now again, we have this mobility. This is a fire of water energy this time. So this is going to be much more balanced for you, Cancer. Much more balanced in your energy. That Knight of Cups can also be allowing yourself to be too controlled by your emotions. So do be mindful of that during this time. Be aware of that. And don't let it carry you away. Don't let it sweep you away. And I do think that that's kind of why this Knight of Wands is coming out in the reverse. That people are perceiving about you these traits, but they're not perceiving it in the positive. They're perceiving it as a detriment in some ways. But really overall, victory and mobility. And we do have, these two knights coming out showing that there is a lot of mobility in this situation. A lot of horses here. The final outcome for you, Cancer. We have the Two of Cups, and it's showing up in the reverse. There could be a partnership that it's time for you to let go. And this doesn't need to just be a romantic partnership. It can also be a friendship, an alliance that you have held for some time. And especially because this is in the counter position to this Knight of Wands. So this other person in this situation might be the one who has this kind of opinion of you that you are not taking action when you should be taking action. But it does appear that there's not animosity here. There's just kind of cross purposes to the extent that it's interfering with this relationship. And you are being guided at this time, Cancer, to trust your instincts. Listen to your heart. What is it telling you? It's telling you to let go of the past. Things are ending at this time. But you are in control of those endings. New information is going to come to light about a lot of these things and make everything much more clear. So that is going to conclude the Cancer reading for this week. Cancer reading for this week. I'm going to move on now to the Scorpio reading. Scorpio. I will be doing the crystal scrying for the members side of the channel for the water signs following this live stream. But I have not yet decided the stone that I'll be using this week. As I mentioned, I'm just trying to be very gentle with myself during this time, as you should be too, on account of my own mental health. So, Scorpio, if you would like to please set your intention for the reading, just allow any associated thoughts or ideas to rise up to the forefront of your mind. Wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And then, if these things are causing you stress or discomfort in this situation, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. And as you inhale, draw in source energy. Hi, Ultra. It's good to see you. I'm hanging in there. I hope that you have been well. It's good to see you again. Now, Scorpio, allow that source energy to infiltrate every cell, every membrane, every fiber of your being. And then as you exhale, just release. Release any of that energy back to source that no longer serves you, whether it be pain or anxiety or discomfort, and it will be transmuted. Oh, wow. I hope everything went smoothly with your surgery, Ultra. And I hope that it was a surgery that you were planning and not a surprise, and that you recover very quickly. Scorpio, we have quite a few secret arcana coming out in your reading this week. Write down your timestamp. So here in the past for you, Scorpio, we have the Five of Wands. This card is in the upright. And it has to do with all of these competitors. Now they're all pretty equally matched to each other, right? And they're not trying to kill each other outright. They're just practicing, kind of. So you could be in a very competitive field or a very competitive situation. And this card is in the upright, so that began in the past and it's continuing into the present situation. Here, in the current situation for you, Scorpio, we have the King of Wands in the upright. So you, Scorpio, are actually showing up as the King of Wands here, which is air of fire energy, two active elemental energies. It is possible that some of you have fire sign energy prominently featured in your chart. The King of Wands is somebody who has a lot of creative prowess, somebody who is a leader by charisma, somebody who really has command of situations through their creative solutions, an innovative thinker. Now, this is crossed by the hand, and I've already seen this card come out a few times, so I don't need to look at the booklet. If you notice, there's like a little piggy snout right here on the palm of the thumb, and that the hand itself is kind of full of all of these different things. And actually, the Seven of Cups did not come out in this reading, but the other readings I've done where this card came out, it came out in readings where there was also a Seven of Cups. Now, this card is about greed. This card is also about reaching for things and not being satisfied, right? So there might be an element of that here. The King of Wands can also describe sexual energies. So there could be something like that going on where there's going out on the dating scene and kind of working your way through the whole Tinder dating pool in your local area. Now, that's not necessarily what's going on here. This could also have to do with creative situations, taking on more tasks than you are really capable of fulfilling, even though you're very capable, as we see with the King of Wands, because these situations are so competitive, and maybe the payoff that is involved in these situations is not sufficient compensation. And so in order to really make a living out of it, you're having to take on so many contracts that you're not really able to fulfill them the way that you ought. Down here in the Imam Sili, we're going to be looking at the foundations upon which the goal or destiny will be built. And we have here the flower. Now this card is in the reverse. And it has come out in readings before, but I'm not super familiar with it yet, so I'm going to look up the meaning. In the reverse, it can have to do with lust, poison, deceit, or oversight. So, certainly going along with a lot of the things that I was saying about the possibilities for the current situation. So, whether that does involve lust or not, even if it just involves power and deceit, you're not setting up here for an abundant future for yourself. You are taking on too many tasks in a way that is going to, in the long term, be detrimental for yourself and detrimental for those who are counting on you to succeed. Here, in your perspective, but we haven't finished the reading yet, so from your perspective, we have the light card in the reverse. And what does that talk about? Number 16. In the reverse, there are hidden lies. You could be hiding falsehoods from others, or you could be perceiving that others are hiding falsehoods from you, Scorpio. Scorpios are big on secrets. It also might be about you keeping parts of yourself hidden that you feel like will be detrimental if they are exposed to your reputation or to other people's perceptions of you. Here, from an outside person's perspective, we have the Fool card, and it's showing up in the reverse. So others could be perceiving maybe that you're jaded. They might be inversely perceiving that you're overly naive. Both of those can be attributed to the Fool in the reverse. And as it's a general reading, I'm going to try to read for both. There could also be a lot of baggage that people are perceiving around you at this time, especially if you're trying to hide things about yourself. People will then make their own inferences about what it is that you're trying to hide. And it might end up being much more unfavorable than what you were originally trying to hide in the first place, Scorpio. But all is not lost. Just because this is what's going on in the current situation doesn't necessarily mean that you're not still generally moving in the correct direction, because we have the Chariot card here. And this card, of course, is about mobility. It's about victory. This is your fellow water sign Cancer's card in the major arcana. We have a bit of a dichotomy here, expressed as these black and white sphinxes heading in slightly different directions. We have the hammer, the wheel. This is a sacred spaceship. So for some of you, you could be manifesting your new reality. That is the spaceship that's going to take you there. Here in your hopes and fears, Scorpio, we have the Six of Pentacles. This card is showing up in the upright, and it's showing up in the position of your hopes and fears. So this has to do with being able to provide for others, being able to give to charity, having more resources coming in than are flowing out again. And that is your hope at this time. And that could be something that goes along with whatever these hidden lies are. That you might feel like you have to put on airs of some kind to create the illusion that you're more financially stable or more balanced financially than you actually are at this time. But that doesn't necessarily, that's not necessarily going to help or hinder you. It might just be causing you stress. Here in the midheaven, so this is going to be the result of what we see down here with kind of some of these things that you might be doing from your baser emotions. We have the door. Now this card is in the upright. Let me see what we have here for the meaning for the door. It's the gateway to a transition. So remember, I was talking about the chariot being like the spaceship that you take into your new reality. We're looking at a very liminal time for you, Scorpio, that you're getting ready to move into a new reality at this time. And in the final outcome position, we have the Judgment card, and this card is coming out reversed. It could be that people are not judging you at this time, right? Especially this card is coming out in opposition to the Fool card. But the Judgment card in the reverse is also about, like, maybe there's one more test that you have to pass. Maybe there's one more thing that needs to be done before you'll be ready to make this transition. The Judgment is very much about the transitional process. It is a trial by fire, elemental fire, and it is associated with the planet Pluto, which of course is very much about transitions and liminal spaces. But that card showing up in the reverse, there could be one more test or trial that you have to pass. And it's going to have to do with things like resources. You might perceive yourself as somebody who doesn't have access to a lot of resources. But you are showing up here in this reading as the King of Wands. So there's something that you have that others would very much like to have access to. It's going to have to do with these secrets that you feel like you need to keep, especially where these secrets have to do with your overall well-being, your financial well-being, your stability, things like that. But overall, that transition will be coming in for you anyway, Scorpio. So that is going to conclude the Scorpio reading for this week. And now I'm going to be moving on to the final sign of Pisces. All right, Pisces. So this is going to be your reading for the week ahead. And if you would like to go ahead and set your intention for the reading, allow any thoughts or ideas associated with that intention to rise up to the forefront of your mind, and just wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And if there's anything about this situation that causes you stress or anxiety, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in divine source energy. Allow it to infiltrate every cell, every molecule, every fiber of your being. And then as you exhale, just release any of that energy right back out into the universe. It will return to source and it will be transmuted. Let me write down your timestamp. Oh, good. I fell asleep before Pisces this time, though. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here for you, Pisces. Here in the past, we have the resolution of an emotional situation. So this could be an amicable breakup. That is how I commonly read this card in the reverse in the past. But it can also be a resolution of a conflict with one's family, a resolution of a conflict with a friend, possibly separating ways with a friend that you were very close for a given period of time, and then you kind of drifted apart, but you're still close friends. You just don't see each other as often, but you could probably just pick right back up where you left off. But that was like a very special period of time for the two of you. And here in the current situation, we do have the Nine of Pentacles, which I call the single lady card, although you don't have to be a lady, but it's somebody who's single and who has a lot of abundance around them, financial freedom, stability, time for pursuits of leisure, right? This is crossed by the Moon card. The Moon can be artistic endeavors, but also is about things that are unclear, the path forward being fraught on both sides by danger and peril, such that it's very important for you to stick to the path, but you might not always be able to see it clearly, right? So that's definitely the kind of situation where you have split from an emotional partner of some kind, whether that's a close friend or roommate, a romantic relationship, but you're moving forward in your own power, and things are a little bit unclear at this time. Down here in the Imam Silai, we are looking at the foundations upon which the midheaven, the goal or destiny, will be built. And the card that we have showing up for you there, Pisces, is the key. This is one of the lovely secret arcana. And I've read it before, but I didn't really absorb it. So the power is held within you to use, but there's a price. There could be something that you are able to tap into within yourself, Pisces, but perhaps there are aspects of it that are problematic, or there's a financial cost, like going to therapy. It's an excellent idea for anyone, but you have to find the right therapist. And it does cost money, so it could be a tangible cost like that. It could also be that now that you have your freedom, there are things that you have become opened up to do, but that there might be so many possibilities that it's important for you, of course, to stay on the right path, and that might be a bit difficult. So there are all kinds of possibilities there, but there's a lot of potential in this card and in this position. It's going to create a strong foundation for your future, Pisces, for your destiny. From your perspective, we have the 10 of Wands And this card is showing up reversed. So you perceive that you are casting off burdens at this time, that you're letting go of things that are no longer serving you. And from an outside person's perspective, we see the Ace of Wands in the reverse. So remember when I was doing the Cancer reading and we had the Knight of Wands coming out reverse? The Ace of Wands, being elemental fire energy, is going to be very similar to that, in that perhaps somebody around you perceives that you are not taking action on a certain situation where it would be beneficial for you to do so. But maybe for you, you perceive that to be too much of a burden. Also, remember that if we are talking about a romantic relationship, that the Ace of Wands is an analog for masculine energies, shall we say. And so with this card in the reverse, it could be that somebody perceives that you're not attracted to them physically anymore. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? Nor does it necessarily have to be the case. Here in the future, we have the High Priestess in the reverse. This can be secrets coming out. The High Priestess is very associated with lunar energies, Pisces. There's a lot of ebb and flow, but the ebb and flow is constant, and that is why the moon is ruled by Cancer and not by your sign of Pisces, which is then associated with the next octave up of the planet Neptune, which has a lot more to do with the higher power and the connection to divine. But anyway, let's get back to the High Priestess card. We do have this dichotomy here that the High Priestess straddles, that she's able to have a lot of balance in this position. And of course, here is the scroll with all of her secrets. So in the future, there could be secrets revealed. You could also be coming into this position, Pisces, in the future situation, but you don't perceive that yet. There could be a lot of things that you don't yet perceive, and then all of a sudden it kind of like washes over you in a wave of realization in the future. Here in your hopes and fears, we have the Hermit card in the reversed. So you're hoping that you will be able to remove yourself from seclusion, come out of seclusion, come down from the mountain. And this is associated with this shedding of burdens at this time, also, Pisces. So there could be situations having to do with these burdens that also have sprung forth from self-isolation. So that might be a factor for you at this time. Here in the midheaven, we do have the Two of Swords, and it's showing up in the reverse. And I feel like because we had the key down in the Imam Sili, right? You've already decided to use the key. You've already decided to tap into this energy, whatever it is. Very much like this Ace of Wands that came out in the reverse with it. So the choice has already been made. And I think that's what we're seeing here. We're not seeing the potential for a future choice, except that the Two of Swords here is a reminder that even though you've already made this choice, you do have the potential to make that choice every time you are confronted with a situation where that comes up. right? You don't have to make the same choice every time. You can decide to cope with things on a one-by-one basis. Even if you do have this particular tool, the key, open to you. Your final outcome for this reading, Pisces, is the Two of Pentacles. And this card is showing up in the reverse. So there's a lack of balance somewhere in this situation. And it might have to do with this Ace of Wands. This card kind of, even though it fits into the reading, in one sense, like in the meaning sense, then if you start to look at the other cards around it, it kind of unravels, right? Where we have the key. The key is very much analogous to this Ace of Wands. So we know that this is what you are supplanting this Ace of Wands with. But somehow that is creating a lack of balance in your life, Pisces. So there might be an over-reliance on whatever this represents to you. And it could be anything. It could be drugs. It could be like anything that you have the potential to use as a tool, but also as a crutch. It could even be your college degree, that you end up getting jobs because that's what your degree is in. That's what you're certified to do. You fall back on that, but it's not what is taking you to the place that you need to go, right? And that's going to create a lack of balance. So that would be the warning in this situation for you, Pisces, is to try to maintain this balance and not choose this in every situation. So that is going to conclude the Pisces reading for this week. Thank you so much for your support. I'm going to go now and do the crystal scrying on the members side of the channel. If that is of interest to you, you are cordially invited. But your presence here is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. Thank you for coming, Kayla. It's always a pleasure to see you. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.